A little, I mean a little. There is still definitely not a lot here. Story starts off with Shadow getting a transmission from Eggman asking him for help, and Shadow is curious what this is all about, so he goes to check things out. And when he runs into Eggman, Eggman seems to have no idea what Shadow is talking about with some transmission. So at first Shadow thinks this was just a waste of time, but then he gets another transmission from Rouge telling him that something is definitely up with Eggman, and that he should continue to pursue him for a while. Eventually Shadow gets another transmission from Rouge where she says that she's discovered the secret about Eggman, but then the transmission gets cut off. And once Shadow runs into Eggman again, he shows that he has also turned Rouge into a card, as she was starting to figure things out a bit too much. And while pursuing Eggman further and trying to figure out what's going on here, Eggman eventually shows Shadow that he also has a card of Eggman, which is, you know, a little bit confusing what's going on there. And eventually he runs into Silver, who explains that the Eggman Shadow is pursuing is probably not the Eggman that he knows. And instead of the two working together to pursue Eggman to figure out what's going on here, they still are like, but I need to get to him first, for absolutely no reason, like I said before. In fact, Silver ran into Shadow earlier in the story, who could have just told him this from the very beginning, but he just stubbornly was like, you don't understand, I need to stop him. It's like, use your words, bro, just tell other people what's going on. That's really the theme here in Sonic Rivals. You should open up to people and tell them what you're thinking, because if you don't, then you just end up fighting with them for absolutely no goddamn reason. Anyway, jokes aside, once again Shadow goes after Eggman, and now he's asking, I know you're not Eggman, who are you really? And then Eggman reveals that he is in fact actually Eggman Nega, and he explains that he is Eggman's descendant from the future, and he's come back in time because Eggman has ruined his family name, so he wants to change history so that way he can be recognized as the genius he is. We're gonna talk about this later. For now, story ends pretty much the exact same way that all the other stories end. Eggman Nega is about to turn the entire planet into a card, and Shadow stops him and gets Rouge's card back and frees her, and there you go. And Shadow probably has the only good moment in the entire story of Sonic Rivals where he says that there's no way he could ever lose to someone who blames his own failures on his past. Hey, look at that. I mean, this game story was written by the same guy who wrote Shadow the Hedgehog story, so it makes sense we'd see some consistency.